Hello everyone, I'm Thiên and welcome to this video. And this is the field trip 2, which is the journey to the central and highland of Vietnam.
In this 7 days journey, our schedule was packed with exciting events and beautiful cities. On day 1, we traveled from Ho Chi Minh City to Nha Trang City to have a team building event. On day 2, we visited Hội Quán with Nha Trang, Hòn Chồng Promontory, and then we traveled to Quy Nhơn City to check out Eo Gió, Windy Strait. On the 3rd day, we visited Ngũ Hành Sơn, Marble Mountains or 5 Element Mountains in Da Nang City. On the 4th day, we had an exchange event with the hotel staffs and explored Hội An ancient town. During day 5, we were mostly sitting in the coach and traveled to Tuy Hòa City. On day 6, we went back to Nha Trang City to visit Nha Trang Stone Cathedral, Nha Trang Oceanographic Art Institute. After that, we were traveling to Đà Lạt City. On the 7th day, we visited 3rd mansions of Bảo Đại, Đà Lạt Station, Lang Biang Mountains, and had dinner with the Khmer people. On the last day, we visited Trúc Lâm Zen Monastery and returned to Ho Chi Minh City to finish the trip. We started our journey on Thursday morning. On this first day, we had to travel about 400 kilometers, so most of the time we were just sitting or sleeping on the coach and only stopped for breakfast or lunch. Then there were more traveling and sitting until noon, and we stopped again for lunch. This time, lunch was not only delicious, but the sound of the waves was also very relaxing and serene. After some more traveling, we arrived at Nha Trang and we have some resting time in our hotel to prepare for the first event of the day, team building. This event was just team games on the beach to help us improve our teamwork, communications, and coordinations. Surprisingly, our team 1, was the winner of the event and we received a special gift. Later on, we went back to the hotel, got ourselves cleaned up, had dinner, and explored the city freely at night. On the second day, we had a buffet breakfast in the restaurant of the hotel. After that, we visited Hội Quán with Nha Trang. Here, I learned about the importance of the agar wood to the economics of the people in Khánh Hòa and the different usage of agar wood's products. I also learned about the Champa Kingdom architecture and listened to the performance of Vietnamese traditional musical instrument. Let's take a listen, shall we? The performance was amazing, right? Then we were free to explore Hòn Chồng Promontory. It was said that a fisherman and his wife were going through a storm, but the wife fell off the boat and the man held on to the rock and his wife. Therefore, it left a hand mark on the stones, and that's why they call it Hòn Chồng, which means the husband rock. Saying goodbye to Nha Trang, we moved to the next city, Quy Nhơn City to visit Eo Gió. Windy Strait is the beach between the two cliffs that has an eerie sound whenever the wind blows. This place online looked amazing, but when we came, the weather wasn't too good.
Luckily, the weather has changed and it is now sunny, and you can see Eo Gió in its full beauty.
At the end of the day, we traveled to our hotel in Quy Nhơn, rested, had dinner, and explored the city. Then we were walking around Nguyễn Square. This was where I met a foreign tourist and asked him a few questions about his thoughts on Vietnam.
In front of me today is a tourist in Quy Nhơn, and I will ask him a few questions. So first of all, can you tell us what's your name and why did you come here?
So my name is Frederik. Short version is Fred. I am from Belgium. I'm making a solo trip to Vietnam in the space of time of 4 weeks. It's now my second week. I started my journey in Ho Chi Minh City and will end my journey in Hanoi. And now I'm doing the coastal tour. So I will be I visited Nha Trang, now I'm in Quy Nhơn, and also going to be in Da Nang this weekend.
Alright. So can you tell us your experience in Vietnam and in Quy Nhơn in specific?
Vietnam is, when you arrive for us Europeans, is quite intense because the traffic is very busy. There's a lot of noise always, a lot of pollution also in the air, so you have to get used to it. There's also the language barrier. You have to adjust your English to the people so they can understand you. So it's in the beginning it's quite adapting, but once you're adapted, Vietnamese people really treat you well, treat you correct. And you easily feel home in the places where you go.
Yes. And how about Quy Nhơn experience for you?
Quy Nhơn is, like I said before, I started the journey in Ho Chi Minh, then Nha Trang. Quy Nhơn is like the first really more peaceful city, more local city that I visit. So you really get a sense of a real taste of Vietnam here, a real local experience. And it's, for me, I only will here 2 days, but for me it's a really pleasant experience so far.
Okay, thank you. And my next question is, how do you think Vietnam can improve the tourism sectors? And would you come here again or would you live here?
So yeah, if you get your local ways of organize things, so I always take Grab bike. I book my hotels with Agoda, and those are really easy ways to travel in Vietnam. It just takes you a few clicks, and you can go where you want for really affordable prices. But to foreigners in Europe, people who don't been to Asia before, things like Grab, Agoda, they don't know. So I think you guys really can promote your local ways of life to us Europeans, because a lot of Europeans will be attracted to that easy and cheap way of traveling. So spread the word.
Okay. And how about, would you visit here again, or do you have any intentions of living here for a long time?
I'm going north. Hopefully I will get the time, but for now Vietnam will always be special for me, and I think I might come back here. I also have other countries in Asia on my bucket list, like Indonesia. But for me, Vietnam is a really easy, acceptable country to travel in. So it will always be on my mind if I have a year where I want to just have a good, easy travel. That Vietnam will always be on top of my list of choices. Yeah.
So that is it for our interview, and thank you so much for spending your time with me.
After the interview, we walked around the night market, Nguyễn Square, and enjoyed the local food. After a long day, we went back to the hotel to get some rest for the upcoming schedules. The first half of this day was unfortunately more traveling, since the distance between Nha Trang and Da Nang was pretty far. There wasn't any tourist attraction on the way until afternoon when we arrived at Ngũ Hành Sơn. Marble Mountains, also known as Ngũ Hành Sơn, is famous for its limestone mountain structure, and it is possible to climb to the summit of Mount Thủy. There was a Buddhist temple and a lot of statues for people to come to visit and pray to Buddha. In the past, there was a princess from the Nguyễn dynasty who used to practice Buddhism here, so Minh Mạng Emperor at the time was paying many visits to persuade her to go back to the kingdom. This place has an ancient and mysterious atmosphere to it compared to other mountains. That day dinner was very special because we were going to try some of the most famous dishes of the central of Vietnam, like this special spring roll with pork belly, quảng noodle, and bánh bèo. One special thing about Da Nang is that every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night, there will be a show where the Dragon Bridge will spit out fire and water. This show is completely free in order to attract tourists to the city. The first event on day 4 was exploring and getting to know more about hotels and event management. We wore our faculty uniform and had a chance to walk around all of the different types of hotel rooms, from normal to luxury. We also took a look at some of the halls for weddings, conference, and other meeting events. Then we had a Q&A section where we get to ask the staffs and directors of the hotel some of our questions and concerns about the hospitality and tourism industry.
Câu hỏi đầu tiên là sự kiện mà hoành tráng nhất của khách sạn đã từng làm là gì và có những khó khăn gì khi mà...
In the afternoon, we were on our way to one of the attractions that has been recognized by UNESCO as a World Heritage, Hội An Ancient Town. There were 3 main attractions that we had to visit: Thực An Old House, the monument of Casimir Kiewaskowski, and Cantonese Assembly Hall, Hội Quán, Quảng Đông. Thực An Old House, located at 129 Trần Phú Street, used to be a drugstore and a bookstore for many patriots and people to visit. This house has stood the test of time for many years, and it is one of the few old houses left in Hội An. This house is also home to a patriot in the 1900s, Mr. Cao Hồng Lãnh. In front of you is the monument of Casimir Kiewaskowski, a Polish architect that played an important role of preserving and promoting Hội An Ancient Town to become a World Heritage. It can be said that if it wasn't because of him and his work, we wouldn't have Hội An Ancient Town of today. Last but not least, Cantonese Assembly Hall was the final attraction of the day. When the Chinese merchant came to Hội An from the 15th to 19th century, they needed a place to gather around. Therefore, a wealthy merchant has spent his money to build this place. On the left, there was a pictures of Lưu Bị, Oanh Vũ, and Trương Phi, the three sworn brothers during the Three Kingdoms period. Inside, there was a shrine for people to come in and pray for fortune and health. While walking in this magnificent ancient town, I got a chance to interview a foreign tourist.
With me today is a tourist in Hội An, and now I will ask him a few questions. So first of all, can you tell us what's your name, where you're from, and the reason why you come to Vietnam?
Yes, my name is John Stias. I'm from Seattle in the United States of America. And I came to Vietnam because I really like Southeast Asia, and Vietnam has such a beautiful culture and so much to see. So I thought it would be a good place to come visit.
Okay, so can I ask you, like, how long have you been in Hội An?
I've been in Hoi An for about 7 hours.
Okay,
Not
so
much time.
that's not a lot of time. But can you just give an overview of your experience here in Hội An? What are the pros, the cons, and how you feel in general?
Yes. So I tried Khao Lao today, which is very good. I enjoyed that, so that's definitely a pro. And part of the reason I'm walking around here tonight is the lanterns and the boats on the river. It's so beautiful. That's why I came to Hoi An specifically. So there's just so much beauty in this small little town, and it's fun to be here. Cons? I don't know if I've found any cons yet. I think everything's been good so far, so I don't have any negative things to say.
Okay, so the last question is, so let's say you have another chance to visit Vietnam, so would you take it, or let's say, would you want to live here for a long term?
Yeah, I already told my wife, who is back home, that she should come here, and we will come together. So we'll come back for sure. And yeah, I mean, as far as living, yeah, it seems like a wonderful place to live for sure. Yeah.
So thank you very much for your time, and that is it for our interview.
After having a great time in Hoi An, we walked our way to the restaurant to try famous dishes like cao lao, fried wonton, chicken rice. This was the first time I tried cao lao, and to me it was tastier than Quảng noodle, even though some people said that they taste the same. To be honest, there wasn't any events or attraction on this day. Tuy Hòa was mostly a stop station for the upcoming days, so there wasn't much to film. But the square was enormous and pretty, and so was the beach. On day 6, we went back to Nha Trang City to visit the Stone Cathedral. As the name suggested, it was mainly built by the French using stone when they colonized Vietnam. Since most of them were Christian, they needed a church so that they can gather around and pray to the Lord every Sunday. The church had a classic Gothic aesthetic that not many churches had. I also took the chance to pray for a while since I hadn't gone to church the previous Sunday. The second attractions of the day was Nha Trang Oceanographic Institute. This was where we learned about the different types of fishes, corals, turtles, and other oceanic lives in the oceans of Vietnam. For example, did you know that sharks actually have scales, but they are just very small? Or the biggest clownfish is the female, and when it dies, the biggest male clownfish will become a female. Interesting, right? In the afternoon, we traveled to Đà Lạt on the pass route through the mountains. It was rainy, foggy, and scary at first, but luckily the sky was clear in the end, and we arrived safe and sound. At night, we were walking around the night market to get some snack like bánh tráng nướng and warm soy milk. We were also walking around the square to check out these buildings that look like flowers. This was our most packed schedule and busiest day yet. In the morning, we visited the Palace One of Bảo Đại. We had the chance to know more about the life stories of Bảo Đại, the last emperor of Vietnam. This mansion was used as a place for him and his family to rest and live. There was also a secret emergency path that led to the helicopter landing zone. The second destination was Đà Lạt Station. The station had a dreamy and picturesque beauty to it. It would be a wonderful place to take pictures and photos. The third destination is Domaine de Mary Church. This church was built by using the money from Christians all around the world, collected by Mrs. Susan Humbert. The fourth destination of the day was Lang Biang Mountain. The beautiful landscape comprised of the mountains and the clouds and the flowers was truly breathtaking. It felt like you are stepping into a painting or lost in another world. There isn't much left to say other than the scenery was gorgeous. The last activity of the day was having dinner in the Khmer style. Later on, we have cultural exchange between the Khmer people and us students. There was a fire dancing event to summon the god of fire, a dancing event that mimicked a hunting journey, and many performances from the local people and us junior students. This was the final day of the field trip, and there was only one last destination before the journey ended, and it was Trúc Lâm Monastery of Đà Lạt. Located on Phụng Hoàng Mountain and next to Tuyền Lâm Lake, the scenery here was very beautiful, suitable for meditation or just thinking to yourself. There were lots of green bushes and colorful flowers all over the place for you to take lots of pictures. After an 8-day field trip, I have been to many places that I hadn't been to before and learned a lot more about the central and highlands of Vietnam. This is also an opportunity for me to practice my speaking, interviewing, and team working skills. I also had lots of fun with my friends, and I will treasure these memories forever. A big thank you to my school, my faculty, and all the tour guides and teachers, and my friends who helped making this journey possible and successful.
This is the end of the second field trip. I hope you enjoyed the journey as much as I did, and thank you for watching the videos, and hopefully I will see you again.